Hello, everyone. This is the 3 Degrees Podcast. My name is Randy Stone. So glad you dropped by. Let's talk about torment. What's the difference between torment and suffering? Torment and suffering. I don't know if we hear a lot about suffering or a lot about torment. You know, torment, if we look at 1 John 4:18 and 19, I'll read it to you. It says, there is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear because fear involves torment. And he who fears has not been made perfect in love. We love him because he first loved us. Now let's go back to this torment thing. Fear involves torment. When we are tormented, we cannot see a way out. When we're tormented, it seems like, you ever get into a problem? I've been in problems. I've been in a lot of problems. And it seems like it's going to last forever. Like it's just never going to quit. There's a, and I get so emotional about the problems and the issues, and my thinking gets so compacted, and it feels like, oh, when is this ever going to end? And it's like, that's when people reach for substances. That's when people go shop. That's when people go eat something, comfort food, right? You've heard of comfort food. When we're tormented, we're going to reach out to things outside of the Lord. Outside of the Lord, because we feel tormented, because we feel like something is going on beyond our control, more than what we can handle. A lot of people run around life thinking, you know what? I just don't want something to happen bigger than what I can actually handle. I know it's true. It's true. And that is tormenting. And I believe that torment leads to all this anxiety. We're anxious, and we have all this built up energy inside. And this leads to this anxiety. Perfect love casts out fear. So if we were mature in love, we're not going to have this. But even in Philippians 4, 6 and 7 says, be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving. Thank you. With thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, that's where the torment's happening, will guard your heart and minds through Christ Jesus. And then he goes on, says, think about good things, what's lovely, just good report, those kind of things. So that's what we're going to think about instead of the torment, instead of the worry, instead of the anxiety, that there is a solution to this thing. No, it may last for a while. We may have to sustain under pressure and adversity for a while. That might be true. But there's a different word for that. That's called suffering. Suffering. Maybe a lot of people don't want to hear about suffering, but it's true. As people, we're going to walk through suffering. So that, the Bible calls it long suffering. You're going to suffer for a long time. That's the fruit of the Spirit. It's great. No, it's patience. It's being patient in the middle of adversity and adverse circumstances. It is standing, being patient, even when things are coming against you. In fact, that's when you do it. We have a choice. We can choose anxiety, we can choose torment, or we can choose long suffering, and we can choose patience. We can understand we're gonna see this thing through. Because when we're apart, or when we have part in long suffering or patience, we're going to reap a harvest in the end. We know how it'll turn out. The Apostle Paul says, I know this is going to turn out for my benefit. I know how things are going to turn out. And so in Galatians, he writes this, let us not grow weary. This is the multiverse. The multiverse. When we go through at least three verses, that's our multiverse. Multiverse. More than three. Galatians 6:9. Let us not grow weary while doing good, for in due season we shall reap. So as we are long-suffering, as we are patient, it's not torment. It's not torment because we can see the end. We can see the end for our benefit. We can see how our character, Romans talks about, I believe it's chapter 3, how our character is developed through adversity and trials. It's chapter 5, verse 3. How we're developed through trials and tribulations. We can glory in these things because we have suffering. We have long suffering, which is a great thing. Which is a great thing to be built up. We're all going to go through problems. We're all going to go through mess. It's going to happen. But we have a choice. We have a choice to say, am I going to do this through long suffering, or am I going to do this through torment? Do I hold on to God? Do I have him by the coattails and say, I know you're not going to let me go? Do I know that he loved me first so I can love him? And there's no fear in the torment that I can sustain through whatever the problem is. Somebody passes away. We lose something. We lose out on something. We lose a promotion. We lose, get into a wreck. I mean, all kinds of things that can happen. In the middle of the storms, we hold on to God through this long suffering, that in the end we reap. In the end, we will be better off. And God will get the glory for sustaining us and seeing us through. Now that is a good word. That is a good word. That's a good word. In fact, that's a great word. That is a great word. So glad you joined. Hey, look, hit like, hit subscribe, right? Like, subscribe, leave a comment. That would be fabulous, fantastic. So glad you're here. So glad you made it to the end. Till next time, God bless, and we'll see you soon.